if we can work together as a group in unity, we will be more successful, more powerful, more able to do the things that as individuals working by ourselves, we have never been able to do.
Hey man, what's going on, young man? You got my paper? Yes, you do.
You know it.
Here you go, Chief. Thank you.
Thank you, no problem.
Yes, sir. How your family doing?
All right, man, we good, man. How about y'all?
Oh, man, we good. You know, the minister has introduced the economic blueprint to end poverty in one. We like to tell you about it, sir.
Well, look, y'all come in, it's cold.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
See, the mind is a terrible thing to waste, but I'll waste the mind of the devil all over.
Hey, Shaw.
What up, Pop?
Hey, come here for a second, son.
Here I come.
What you doing? Who you, texting?
Would you go?
Oh, you get on my nerves.
Hey, T.
Yeah.
Come here, sweetheart. I want you to check something out real quick.
Okay.
Thank you for letting us in, Mr. Brewer. We really appreciate it.
We appreciate y'all coming through, man. Get y'all out the cold.
Most definitely.
Yes, sir. So let's go to the website, economicblueprint.org. First thing you should see is the How It Works tab at the top. You can go ahead and press that.
All right. How it works. It's right here at the top.
Yes, sir.
Go to www.economicblueprint.org and click the How It Works tab. If 16 million of us donated as little as 5 cents a day, in 1 year, we will have $291 million. You will have 2 options to donate, by mail or online. When you pick Donate by Mail, the address of where to send your payment pops up on the screen. When you click Donate Online, it will send you to a secure payment page. On this page, you can set the amount you wish to pay, and by clicking the Recurring tab, you can set the payment to come out of your account monthly. You can pay using your PayPal account, or if you don't have a PayPal account, you can pay using the credit card by clicking the Continue link.
Mom, Dad, I could get to the economic blueprint right now.
Let us look at this blueprint that will, by Allah's grace and mercy, finally end poverty and want among our people.
Leaders who are not able to help them at all, but what you are witnessing tonight and what you are participating in tonight is a transfer of the mantle of leadership of Black America to the shoulders of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. He is not before you tonight as some self-sent leader, but he is one that has been sent on his mission by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. As a matter of fact, he has been criticized by people because he has been so reluctant, in fact, to accept his mission. But now that he has accepted his mission and he is working tirelessly day after day after day, he is doing a work in the midst of the people unlike any work that has ever been done since the time of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad among us. And the fact about it is, he is going to take the work and the vision of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to its ultimate peak of perfection and completion. Yes, sir. It is fitting that this Saviours Day in 1989 take place in a city like Washington, D.C., which is not only just a municipality, a city with its own set of policies and problems and leaders and citizens, but it is also the national capital. It is also an international capital where every nation of the earth has a representative or an ambassador in residence here in Washington, D.C. That means that any word that is spoken from this place, it has its effect on the local level. And I would say to the leadership of the city, you are seeing that your constituents, whom you say that you represent, you are seeing them by the droves to come out to recognize and respect Minister Louis Farrakhan. And the question that is in their minds is, where are you? Where are you, Marion Barry? I spoke to you myself, and I told you that when the people see you weak and afraid and bowing down to the Jews, that they hate you. Listen. He's our mayor. And as the representative in the city of Minister Farrakhan, it is my duty to come to the aid to help anybody that has the awesome responsibility of that office. And I told Mayor Barry that if you stood up with Minister Farrakhan and the people saw your strong stand, then you don't have to worry who comes after you, because the people will fight by your side if you would stand up. How can you expect the support of the people if you will not stand today? We're not a scared to death people any longer, but we are a people that has been made ready by the Spirit and the power of God. And so once the people are ready, how dare you come before them weak? That's right. Like a lapdog, licking the heels of the enemy and the persecutor and the oppressor of yourself and your people. The ones that you're seeking to please, they will never support you and back you up, and you will never win their vote. So why not take away with the black people who have supported you consistently through thick and thin, and stand with the leader that is becoming universally recognized, not just in Washington. He's a national leader. That's right. This reminds me of what happened in New York the last time the minister went to New York. And they filled up Madison Square Garden and the Felt Forum, and there was 30 to 40,000 black people trying to smash the doors down to get in and see Minister Farrakhan. They come out by the tens of thousands in Chicago, in Los Angeles, in St. Louis, in Louisiana, in Miami, Florida, all over the country. It's Farrakhan that the people want to see and hear. Yes, sir. That's right. We have people here tonight from London, England, followers of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. They said that they came all this way because they had never had a chance to see their leader and teacher. And so they're here from London, England, witnessing for the first time Minister Farrakhan address an audience of this magnitude. Yes. We have representatives from New Zealand, from Ghana, from all over the world. They all accept the leadership of the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. In Tanzania or South Africa, it is the voice of Minister Farrakhan that is leading the black struggle against apartheid there. Yes, sir. Yes. So when it comes to introducing Minister Farrakhan, there is no better forum than the forum provided by Washington, D.C. I'm not just introducing a man as a local leader to a local group of people, but I'm introducing a man to the entire nation and beyond the boundaries of America and her sovereignty and her power. I also have the great honor and distinction this evening to introduce a man to the world, because the words that he will speak will not only have impact in the local Washington, D.C. community or on the national scene, but his words will be felt and heard and have impact and influence around the globe. So brothers and sisters, let me say to you that Minister Farrakhan will grant an interview, a press conference tomorrow. All of the press are invited, and he wanted me to convey to you that the public is also invited to that press conference at 11 o'clock at the JW Marriott Hotel. You know where that's at. It's right across the street from the mayor's office. 1331 Pennsylvania Avenue, and it will begin promptly at 11:30. So without any further delay, let us stand in honor of a man who has stood for us. Let us lift up our voices. Let us clap like thunder. Let our spirit rise. Let us bring on to the city and to the nation and to the world the leader of the black man and woman around the world, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan.
Thank you. Thank you. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Allah, the one God, creator of all things, revealer of all truth, sender of all prophets, known by many names, and all good names rightfully belong to Him. To Him alone do I submit and seek refuge. And I thank Him for His prophets and the scriptures that they brought. But I am eternally grateful that I was blessed to meet and to be taught by and to be nurtured by a divine leader, teacher, and guide for black people in America and throughout the world, the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I greet all of you, my dear brothers and sisters, with the greeting words of peace in the Arabic language. Assalamu alaikum. Well, after that very rousing introduction, I feel very, very, very small. I'm so honored by the distinguished men and women who are on this dais. So before I begin, I want to say to the Reverend clergy, I'm always happy to see the men and the women of God. Father Stallings, the Reverend Willie Wilson, who has always been the Reverend Al Sharpton, Reverend, please, your name? Brother Quasi, Reverend Quasi Thornell, would you please stand? And the Reverend Smiley, would you please stand? And the ministers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, would you please stand? In fact, what a distinguished dais. We have members of the city council here with us. Brother Eric Thomas. Harry Thomas. We have Mayor Carl Officer with us from East St. Louis. Mayor Carl Officer. Brother Delbert Bryan, all the way from St. Croix in the Virgin Islands. Dr. Lenora Falani. And all the way from New Zealand, Sid Jackson and his wife, Mrs. Jackson and Moina, would you stand? From New Zealand. Sister Tynetta Muhammad, would you please stand? Sister Amina Rasool Muhammad, instructress of the women in the Nation of Islam. The mother and the father of our recently slain brother in Bensonhurst, Brother Yusuf Hawkins, his mother and father. Brother, would you please, and sister, would you please stand? The wife of Minister Aleem, Sister Alima Muhammad, would you please stand? The wife of our great national assistant, Sister Mariam Muhammad, and where's Brother Akbar Muhammad? Come on out here, Brother Akbar. We have our attorney, Lou Myers. My wife is here with me, and of course she's the strength. Other than Allah, she is my greatest helper, Sister Farrakhan. Step up here. This is she. We need not look for another. And of course, the brothers that are with me all the time, oh, Brother Akbar Hassan Sharif, he's the first one that introduced me to Islam, Brother Akbar Hassan Sharif. Oh my, there are so many that I'm missing, and I won't get to my speech unless I get to it. But before I go any further, I wanted to call up a sister and her family, Sister Tawana Brother. This is Tawana's mother, Glenda, Tawana's father, Ralph King. All of you know or have heard of the case, and we're not here to discuss it tonight, but suffice it to say, though the press and others would say that our sister made all of this up, it's a shame. When a black woman suffers, she makes it up. When a white woman suffers, get the niggers and hang them. But we are just about at the end of this kind of thing. would like to offer to Sister Tawana a beautiful name, if she will accept it. Mosque Mariam is named after the most noble woman who ever lived. The woman that is the most noble woman who ever lived, who is chosen above all the women of the world. In the Quran, she's called Maryam, the mother of Jesus, the Messiah. We named our mosque after this noble woman. The mosque was once beautiful. It was defiled. It was desecrated. But God blessed us to find it. To purchase it again. To cleanse it. To reform it. And to name it. Our sister was defiled by beasts. She is lucky that she is alive. But her defilers and their defilement could not destroy what God has made and set as an example. So I asked my sister if she would accept the name of the most noble of women and strive to live up to that name, to be righteous, to be decent, to be wise, and later in life to bring forth fruit from her womb that will be to the world as a Messiah. I asked her if she would take the name Maryam Muhammad. Well, thank you. Around me is a wonderful staff of men who have pledged their lives to this cause and would give their lives to protect my life. I am very grateful to Allah for these men and these women. Salim Muhammad, Captain William Muhammad, my son Mustafa Farrakhan, Brother Khalid Abdul Muhammad, Brother Rodney, Brother...
Speak in the mic, Brother Man, so they can't hear you.
Brother Malik Muhammad, Brother Sadiq Muhammad, Brother Dennis Muhammad, and Brother William Muhammad. And all of the FOI that you see around, all of the MGT that you see around, we have committed our lives to the rise of black people here and all over the world. I thank you, Muslims, for your great help and your great sacrifice. Thank you, Muslims. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad once said he had the best followers of any leader in the country. And I believe that the same is true today. I am honored by the presence of each and every one of you. And now I will get to my subject. And I hope that God will bless me to get it over in a short period of time. It needs your undivided attention. Washington, D.C. has been given the reputation of being the murder capital of the United States of America, and indeed the murder capital of the world. Is this coincidental? Or is this a case of the chickens coming home to roost? Washington, D.C., the capital of the greatest, most powerful nation on earth, is now being vexed by a people who were once members of a great black nation, but who have been brought to nothing in this society by their former slave masters and are now being kept as nothing by the cruel hand of the government and their former slave masters' children. Black people have now become a source of vexation of the government, fulfilling the scriptures. It is written in the book of Romans, I will provoke you to jealousy by them that are no people, and by a foolish nation will I anger you. Isn't it fitting and an act of poetic justice that in a city where drugs, death, violence, murder, mayhem, chicanery, deceit, machinations of all kinds on a worldwide level are taking place, that in this city, one of the children of the slaves would come and offer a solution to the city, to the government, to the nation, to stop the killing.
Yes, sir.
Here's a city that has dealt death on nations of the earth.
That's right.
From this very capital. Governments have been overthrown. Kings and rulers have been killed, murdered, assassinated by plots from the CIA, from this capital. From this very capital. United with Britain and the Netherlands, the British East India Company grew the poppy seeds and the poppy plant, the opium plant. In India, then transported the opium into China and made the Chinese opium heads and drew the silver out of China until the Boxer Rebellion and the Chinese stood up and said, never again. But it happened from this capital, from this city. So now, this that was started here, the trash that America blew up in everybody else's door, is now blowing back at the doorstep of the White House, at the doorstep of the Capitol, where demons plotted the death, the destruction, the murder of nations. Fulfilling the scriptures again.
All right now.
As thou hast done, so shall it be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. Jesus said, God is not mocked, for whatsoever a man shall sow, the same shall he also reap. It's reaping time. Killing did not start with the drug users and drug pushers. No. Killing did not start with the gangs. Killing started when we disobeyed divine law and set ourselves up as gods beside God, refusing to travel the well-traveled path of the ancients, but desiring to chart our own course in an effort to negate God's wisdom for his creatures. God has brought your evil back to your own doorstep.
All right now.
So the ones who started all of this are now reaping what they have sown. And so in the door of the Capitol, black folk running amok. Black folk angering the Congress.
Yes, sir.
Black folk angering the president.
Yes.
Black folk who were sold into slavery. Black folk now have made the capital of America the disgrace of America.
Yes, sir.
There's a coldness today among our youth. Our youth today have the reputation of being the most cold and brutal generation that we have ever produced.
That's right, brother.
But this is not only said of black youth, but it is also being spoken of Hispanic youth, Native Americans, and even white youth. This coldness of our youth is the fruit of the tree of rejection, hatred, and bitterness. It is not necessarily a black or white problem, but it is a problem dealing with the whole structure of this society. It is a problem that is in itself a condemnation of the stewardship of every institution that has held sway over human life. The problem is so grave that the problem condemns religion. It condemns education, politics, and the system of jurisprudence. The problem condemns the home. It condemns a greedy system of economics that has robbed America's children of proper parenting. It condemns the society that is breaking up the home by driving a wedge between male and female. This dislodging of marriage as the cornerstone of family is causing the whole society to come down. For whenever the cornerstone of a building is removed, the stability of the whole building is in jeopardy. Where there is no successful marriage, there is no strong family and strong home life.
That's right.
Where there is a rupture in the family and home life, it is manifested in the national life of the people. So America has now been made manifest as being degenerate at her very core. For it is marriage, family, and home that makes a nation great. And it is the righteousness of this basic institution that gives a nation perpetuity. And so we say to America, stop the killing. The penologists, the wardens, the guards of the various correctional institutions are saying that they've never seen a generation in the history of America like this one. Young people are committing the most cold, callous, and brutal crimes. Crimes that were once only committed by the most hardened criminals are now commonplace among our children. What has caused this? The children aren't cold on their own. No. They didn't produce themselves as frigid, cold, heartless children. No, right. Children who can snuff out the lives of their parents, all right, now. Kill and rob and maim their elderly. Yes, sir. This is not something that is from the children. It is a produced thing. Yeah, that's right. A recent study by the University of Michigan in 1950 to determine the institutions that had the greatest influence on our young stated that in terms of influence, in 1950, the number one influence was home. The number two influence was church. The number three influence was school. The number four influence was peers, and the number five influence was television. By 1980, when the study was repeated, the order was number one, home, number two, television, number three, peers, number four, school, and church had dropped from 2nd place to 5th place in the study. Since 1980, the deterioration has been so great that home even is no longer the #1 influence on our children. But their peers represent their first and their foremost influence. Then television, then home, then school. Church is not in the picture anymore. What has happened, men of God, women of God?
Yes, sir.
That the church has lost its influence. The home has lost its influence. What does this say about the deterioration of the society? Look at what you're doing to the children. Children of human beings have to be bonded to human beings in order to grow in human qualities.
Yes, sir.
The feeding of the soul and the spirit is what separates humans from animals. And this takes place by the proper nurturing of the emotions, the psychological development of the mind and spirit of the child. And this is accomplished through a process that is called bonding. Allah in the Holy Quran introduces himself to all of humanity in these words: I, Allah, am the best knower. Nobody else knows more than I, who created all things. I know the nature of everything that I created, and I know best how to nurture it, how to evolve it, and make it attain stage after stage until it reaches its eventual perfection. But Allah declares in the Quran that the weaning has to take 2 years. I'm going to say that again. Allah says in the Quran that weaning takes 2 years, meaning that the baby should be on the breast of its mother for at least 2 years. Not the husband, not the male member, but the baby. Let's talk a minute. Since the nature of all things is to be created dependent, and by the nature of that dependency, all creatures are created insecure and incomplete. And that which secures them and that which makes them complete is not what comes from within oneself. It is a force that comes outside of oneself, nurturing something within oneself. Listen now. The child as a creature must be made secure, and it is made safe by the feeling of the warmth of the mother and her breast. The nursing from the breast gives the child a base for psychological, emotional security and maturity. This process of nursing from a mother properly taught causes the baby to grow into a confidence, a surety of being wanted, a sense of belonging, a sense of being loved.
Yes, sir.
And this love is the same creative force by which Allah created the heavens and the earth. And I must hasten to tell you that children today are not nursed on that creative force. They are not nurtured and developed on the creative force of love. The process of nursing bonds the child to the mother and the mother to the child. This is what creates the environment to grow the child from the potential of becoming a beast in human form to the potential of becoming a well-developed human being. Bonding your children to an inanimate object, a television set.
Yes, sir. Come on with it.
Bonding them to animals, teddy bears and the like. Imagine that. You got a human child. It goes to sleep with a dog, with a teddy bear, with a dog. Insecure, it has to hold on to something inanimate.
Yes, sir.
Look at what you're doing to yourself. Then you bond them to the cold streets. This is what has produced the reality of a cold generation. Think of it, mother. A breast filled with milk. You empty the breast out because you got to go to work. Or you want to preserve your form. I ain't got time to nurse no baby. So you bond your baby to Similac or Enfamil, which is a synthesized version, something that some dude cooked up in a laboratory, while God cooked up the best food for the baby in the breast of its mother. I want you to think with me. So after you've bonded them to Enfamil or Similac, then you bond them to a cow. The poor calf can't get to the mother's udder for your baby. Cow's milk was never made to nurture human children in their infancy. Cow's milk is made for calves. A mother's milk is made for her babies.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
After you finish bonding them to a cow, to a can of Similac, bonding them to a pacifier.
Come on, brother.
Then you bond them to a babysitter.
Come on, brother.
Or a daycare center where the child is cared for in a business-like fashion. Sit over there, Johnny. Go to pot, Johnny. No, don't do that, Johnny. Hey, Johnny, I said, sit down. Ain't no love involved. It's a matter of money.
Yes, sir.
You're busy. You have to work today. The economics of America is so twisted that it interferes with the natural process. Now you're reaping what you have sown. So now you bond your babies to the television set. Sit down. Turn on the TV. Hours and hours, some inanimate thing is trying to rear your children. Where's the human influence? Where's the human touch? Then you buy your child a rabbit, buy your child a bird, buy your child a dog.
Yes, sir.
Then you bond them to the streets.
Yes, sir.
Is it any wonder that the nation has degenerated to human beings who resemble more animals in the animal kingdom than the developed human being that God intended? You're crawling around like snakes, making a crooked path as you cross. As you crawl, as you walk, you don't walk upright like men and women of God that God intended. You crawl around and the poison of asps is under your tongue and your feet are swift to shed blood and your mouth is an open sepulcher. There's none of you that do good. There's none that is righteous. No, not one.
Come on.
I didn't write it. That's what the Bible says. I'm only quoting what the book says.
Come on.
Look at you. You walk the streets stalking other human beings to prey on the weak, steal their goods, rob them, kill them. America has degenerated into a house full of animals.
Yes, sir.
No wonder John the Revelator said, Babylon is fallen, For she has become the habitation of devils.
Yes, sir.
The hole of every foul spirit in a cage for every unclean and hateful bird.
Yes, sir.
This is America today.
Yeah.
This is what your high technological advancement, but your human degeneracy has brought about.
Yeah. Come on, brother. Thank you, brother.
What does the face of a killer look like? Is he scowling? Is she vicious? I suggest that you go home and look in the mirror. For everything that God has created has the potential of life and death. In the animal world, the world of birds, fish, fowl, and insect, one life feeds upon another. So the process of life and death is constantly going on. It never ceases. Nobody kills more than God. God is the #1 killer, but nobody calls him a killer. Because Allah says he is beneficent, he's merciful, he's loving, he's kind, he's just, he's forgiving, but he also has other qualities. He's the destroyer. He's the avenger. He gives life and he causes death. And he gave each human being a bit of his own nature. So in us, we have the capacity to give life.
That's right.
And we also have the capacity to kill.
Yes,
is that right?
Yes,
any human being under the right circumstances and influence can become a destroyer of human life. And so we say, stop the killing. Stop the killing. How can you stop the killing? If you don't know how to stop it?
Yes, sir.
It's not just silly like the president will say, don't do drugs. Say no to drugs. Isn't that a stupid answer for a complex problem? You can tell your child, don't put your hand in the fire, Johnny. Stop that. But you can't say that to drugs. Drugs is not the result of somebody just going out desiring to get high. It's a deep psychological and spiritual problem, and nobody wants to address the cause. How then can you affect the solution? There's a great fear, brothers and sisters, on the part of those who brought our fathers into slavery.
All right now. All right now.
They fear that one day we would rise up against those who enslaved our fathers and get even with them. That fear, conscious and subconscious, directs the actions, the policies, and the attitudes of whites, particularly in the government, against the rise of black people and our constant cry for justice. They're afraid, brothers and sisters.
Yes, they are.
It doesn't make any difference how sweet you talk, Reverend.
That's right.
How peaceful you are.
That's right, brother.
It doesn't make any difference how nice we smile, how much we dance and sing and laugh. In the back of white folks' minds,
Tell it, brother.
when they see that big, strong black brother running through several white folks with a ball going to the goal line, they just hope that he'll never wake up, because they never want to meet him on a battlefield. They never want to meet the strong warriors. They're afraid, brothers and sisters. Now, we got a lot of Bible readers in here. We got a lot of Bible quoters in here. We have a lot of Quran readers. And a lot of Quran quoters. But reading and quoting the Bible or Quran is not salvation.
All right now.
What good is reading the Bible or the Quran if these books only mean to you that they are stories of the ancients and have no relevance to today's society and today's problems? If the Bible and Quran have no relevance, then they have no value. But if these books were revealed yesterday with today in mind, then we need to study these books and the prophecies and the principles inherent in the prophecies, that our actions may be properly guided and our thoughts developed along proper lines. I'm going to quote some scripture, but I want not just to quote it, I want to break it down for you. Because both the Bible and Quran are put in language that is coded. Some of it is clear and other language is allegorical. And the coded part, even the scholars and scientists have to know something about the mind of God. That's right. In order to unlock the code. Yes, sir. It is written in the scriptures, quote, "And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and became exceedingly mighty, and the land was filled with them." Let's stop a moment. Come on. Now, if this is just talking about some Jews that lived in Egypt under Pharaoh, then we can close the book, because that's past. But if Pharaoh and the children of Israel was a sign of a great slave master, a great slave empire that would be on scene in the last days of the world, then let's look around and see, is there a great nation, and in that nation is a people who are in bondage and they are multiplying and growing exceedingly great, and everywhere you look the land is filled with them. Is there any such nation on earth today? My brothers and sisters from the UK, the United Kingdom, in Britain there's great worry because blacks and Indians and members of the Commonwealth are growing in England. And whenever white people see a lot of black folk growing, all right now, racial tension begins to mount. But England is not the prime target. All right. There's a lot of blacks in the army in Germany. Yes, sir. And the Europeans are upset. So many blacks in the army mixing with their daughters. They once were happy to see blacks in Sweden and Norway, Finland and Denmark. But after they began to see the brothers with the white women and half white babies, they began to become concerned. But nowhere on earth is there a white nation with so many blacks that are growing every day as in America. All right now. In the United States, black people are multiplying. Tell it. Black people are increasing abundantly. Yes, sir. Yes. Black people are becoming exceedingly mighty. That's right. And the land is filled with us. That's right. Everywhere you go in Washington, D.C., is us. That's right. Everywhere you go in Baltimore, in Philadelphia, in New York, in Camden, New Jersey, in Chester, Pennsylvania, in Norfolk, Virginia, in Alexandria, you look around, there's us. White folk can't seem to run high enough or far enough to get away from us. The scripture says, "Now there arose a new king over Egypt, who knew not Joseph, and he said unto his people, Behold, them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when war occurs, they join also unto our enemies. And remembering our evil to them, fight against us. So get them up out of the land. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel. Isn't that something? Now, dear brothers and sisters, that's in the Quran, that's in the Bible. It's not there talking about Jews of yesterday. That's why some Jewish people are angry with me.
All right now.
It's because I'm saying to them and to America and to white folks and to theologians, it ain't talking about nobody Jews of yesterday.
No.
It's talking about you and me and us in America today under the rule of the present government and its power. How many of you can see that it's talking about us? Raise your hands up. Then let's go on and get deeper. Look here. The demographers, those who study the statistical science dealing with the distribution, density, and vital statistics of populations, they have said that if the present birth rate of blacks continue, and if the present birth decline of whites continues, by the year 2083, blacks will either be equal to or greater in population than white people in America. White folk recognize that in less than 100 years, we will be the majority. Now just think about what Run Jesse Run means 50 years from now. 60 years from now. See, that's just not a slogan. White folk don't talk about just today. White folk think about tomorrow, and they plan and they make policy today to make sure that tomorrow is theirs and not yours. They also say that at the present birth decline in whites, by the year 2000, whites will reach zero population growth, meaning for every white child that is born, a white person will die. So America on the white side is becoming older and grayer, while America on the black, Hispanic, and Native American side is experiencing an increasing growth of young people. This is what Pharaoh meant when he said they are mightier than we, because America is getting older, grayer. But black people,
All right now.
6 out of every 10 of us is below 30 years of age. And when you've got a young population that is fighting age and working age but don't have no jobs, then you got trouble on your hand, America. So listen to what they're scheming up on black people. Let's go back in the Bible and see what President Bush has planned.
All right.
And I want to warn you, black people, don't you ever get taken in by a smile and a pat on the back, because John Fitzgerald Kennedy was smiling with Martin Luther King Jr. while they were tapping his phones and planning his death. Don't you ever forget it. Don't you ever forget it. Listen to the words. Come, let us deal wisely with them. What is meant in the word wisely? Wisdom denotes a skill in doing something. Doing it in such a skillful way that you may do it but not be discovered. doing your evil so skillfully that you get the people to participate in their own destruction.
All right.
The Pharaoh of yesterday said, let us kill the male and spare the female. That's what Pharaoh said yesterday.
All right now.
It's not accidental that the jails are filled with who? Who? Young black men. The streets are filled with who? Young black men. The army is filled with who? Young black men. Women on their way to college. Girls on their way to school. See them on the trolleys, on the subway. Where are you going, daughter? I'm going downtown to my job. The women have jobs, but the men have none. The women are going to school getting an education, but the men are not.
Come on, brother.
They bring the big, strong black men to college. They don't care whether you get an education. You're just a big piece of meat that is running a football, dunking a basketball, wrestling, running track, fighter. That's how white folk love to see their niggas. They can smile when you knock them down. I'll bet on so-and-so. They love it when you dunk, fly through the air. They like that. Or when you throw that hip and make that move and go through the line and get 6 points. They love it. They say, now ain't he all right?
Come on.
Oh, they love it when you get your guitar and say, ain't nobody loves me. They love it. Shout your blues, play your horn, dance, sing. That's what they like.
Yes, sir.
But don't be a thinker.
Yes,
Don't challenge them in theology.
Yes, sir.
Don't challenge their political thinking.
Come on.
Don't challenge them in education.
Yes, sir.
Don't challenge them in science.
Yes, sir.
For that breaks the mold that they are not used to.
Right.
They want to package you and put you in a mold that they can deal with you and look down upon you. Don't break the mold. They bring our black men to college. And when you go on the college campuses, the black athletes are told not to get involved in any social action of the black students. They give them an apartment, a little stipend, and when you look around, here they come with a white woman on their arms, happy as a lark. They have no time for the black woman anymore. They're in heaven now. Sisters, when you go to work downtown, I know how they make you feel. They'll open the door for you, won't they? How are you, Miss Jones? Give you that big smile, then tell you that dirty joke. And when you laugh, all of a sudden they squeeze you with a hand it shouldn't be. And then you find yourself going to bed with the children of your slave master. And you say, white folk is all right. I got a white boyfriend, he just loves me to death. And that's about the size of it, baby. But if you look at your white lover that you're sleeping with, ask the white man, does he love your father? Does he love your brother? Does he love your uncle and your cousin? He hates the very shadow of your father. How in the hell could he love you? Just bear with me, brothers and sisters. The Pharaoh of yesterday said, let us kill all the males and spare the females. The Pharaoh of old used a crude methodology. He deemed it wise in his day to outright kill the male. But today the earth is a global village. And what is done with the whole world watching. So great skill and wisdom has to be employed by the modern Pharaoh to get the target group to participate in its own destruction. This is what is meant by the words, come, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And should a war occur, they join on to our enemies. What does this mean? It tells us that there is a deliberate plan to stop us first from multiplying.
Yes, sir. That's right.
That's right. Into the birth control pill.
All right.
Now, most of you women, sorry about that, sisters, I've got to talk to you. You don't know the chemists who make the pill. You just use it because it's effective.
Come on.
But you don't know the side effects.
Come on now, brother.
Because your chemists are not there. So you're taking a pill. But the enemy is injecting the meat with hormones. Pump it up, they say. Fatten it up so we can take it to market. So while you are on the pill, you're feeding burgers with all of these hormones in it to your children, since you really don't have time to cook a decent meal. You let somebody cook it in a kitchen you know nothing about. Put chemicals in it that you know nothing about. You say, yeah, well, a lot of white folk is getting it. Don't you know they're glad to get rid of some of theirs to get all of you? I gotta talk to you tonight, Washington. And don't you get angry with me. You stop a moment and start thinking about what I'm saying.
Come on.
Now you got an 8-year-old daughter. She got breasts. You were 14 and 15 and 16 before you saw a breast on yourself, that is. But now at 8 years old, you flowery. And 9 years old, daughter got a menses. She got a doll in one hand and a pad in the other hand, crying because she don't know what is going on in her life.
Yes, sir.
And neither do you know.
Yes, sir.
Now your daughter is growing sexually at 8 and 9, but there's no mother around.
Yes, sir.
To parent the child, no father around.
Yes,
mother gone,
yes,
father gone. The motherless child sees a hard time.
Yes, sir. Come on.
So at 10 years old, your daughter is pregnant.
Yes.
11 years old, she don't know nothing about birth control. So the babies are now having babies.
Yes. Come on.
This
brother.
is the society that we live in. They want us to stop the killing. Isn't that something?
Yes, sir.
Stop killing, they say. Isn't it awful? 360 some odd murders already. Isn't that terrible? Stop it on this end. But how many murders have been committed in the sterile offices of these abortion clinics? If you want to stop the killing on one side, you ought to stop the killing of innocent life that is coming into the world. Stop the killing.
Yes, sir.
Oh, this is not the theme you wanted, is it? Here's a government that legalizes abortion.
Yes, sir.
Legalizes killing the fruit of the womb.
Yes, sir.
But if you kill it after it gets here, you gotta do life, but there's no penalty for killing it before it gets here.
Oh! Fix it up, bro. Fix it up.
This is a crazy society.
Yes, it is.
They tell your children to respect the parents. Then they tell your children they can have an abortion and they don't have to tell the parent.
Yes, sir.
You're sick as hell. And you need a doctor, and the doctor is not your political leaders.
Yes, sir. That's right, brother. That's right. That's right.
That's right.
So the plan is decrease your numbers and make you participate in the destruction of yourself. Second, there's a plan to keep us from uniting among ourselves.
That's right, brother.
Never let black people come together.
All right now.
Never let it happen.
Yes, sir.
Keep the Catholics, the Baptists, the Muslims, the Jehovah's Witness, keep us all divided by religion.
Yes, sir.
Then divide us by region. Say this is a northern one, that's a southern one, this is an eastern one, that's a western one. This one is from the Caribbean, this one's from Africa. Keep them all upset and divided.
Yes, sir.
This one's a Kappa, this one's an Alpha, this one's a Delta, this one's an AKA. Keep them all divided. Not only must you keep them divided and hating each other, you must keep them from ever becoming international in their view. Because then, if they become international, they will connect with people that America considers her enemies. And also they must keep us from uniting with our own kith and kin in Africa, the Caribbean, Central and South America, and the islands of the Pacific. Keep them all divided. This plan has to be carried out on many fronts to decrease our numbers, birth control, create economic hardship and family instability.
Yes, sir. There it is.
Teach the people they're unable to care for their children. How can you have a baby? You can't have another one. You don't have the means, honey. Keep them so confused that they will willingly allow doctors to sterilize them. Give them a birth control death plan. Give them things, chemicals, to rinse out their private parts with that they have not the knowledge of, that will weaken the walls of the uterus, so when they really want to have a baby, the walls of the uterus are too weak to hold a baby. Kill the fruit of the womb. To keep us from unifying the government of the United States under J. Edgar Hoover, designed a counterintelligence program.
Tell it now. Tell it.
Designed to destroy any black group or any black leader.
Tell it, brother.
Who had the power to unite black people.
That's right. Tell it, brother.
In this audience tonight, there are men and women of every political and religious persuasion. And there are men and women from every region of the world. Farrakhan then is a dangerous black man.
Hello.
Come on, brother minister.
But boy, let me tell you something. I laugh at your silly plans.
This is good. Yes.
I want to talk to you tonight.
Talk to him. Come on. Talk to him. Talk to him, brother.
Look, brothers and sisters. Hoover designed a plan to destroy any black leader who could unify the masses of our people. And to do everything in their power to keep that black leader, once identified, from reaching black youth.
Come on, come on.
Dig it out. Did you hear me?
Yes, sir.
They want no black leader that they identify that can unite black people to ever connect with black youth.
Yes, sir. Listen. Yes, sir.
I want you to listen now. Third, they must keep black people from unity with other oppressed people.
Listen to them.
They don't want any unity between the black and the Hispanic people.
That's right.
And if they see us coming together, they'll break it up.
That's right.
They want no unity with the black and the red, the Native American. They don't even want to see any thought of any coalition between black groups and poor whites.
Yes, sir.
They are threatened by any leader, any movement
That's right.
that can bring us together.
Listen.
Lastly, black people must be kept from any philosophy or ideology that will link them with other people of the world. Let us deal wisely with them.
Yes, sir. All right.
Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Now look, brothers and sisters, how many of you remember Paul Robeson?
All right.
Paul Robeson was a brilliant scholar, artist, human being. He was more loved in Russia and in Europe than in America.
That's right.
He connected with a socialist philosophy. That made that man dangerous according to the plan of the government of the United States. The moment you connect with a philosophy that they consider alien, then they must come against you. If you're socialist, if you're communist, and you tie in to what they call international socialism and communism, you're a threat and you're going to be dealt with. You have to understand that. So in the 40s, they began dealing on all socialists, particularly among the black artists. Communism attracted black intellectuals and artists in the 40s and 50s. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Are you all right? Look at Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey came with a philosophy that was dangerous to the government.
That's right.
Marcus Garvey said, Africa for the Africans at home and abroad. That's too dangerous. Because white folk want Africa.
Yes, sir. That's right.
They want the riches of Africa.
That's right.
They do not want black people all over the world to say Africa is the root of us and cling to Africa and move out the interlopers and squatters who have sucked the blood of Africa. They don't want to see that happen. E.B. Du Bois, Padmore, Nkrumah, Pan-Africanist ideology, dangerous. Because as a black person, if you think of the black people in the Caribbean, in Africa, in Central America, South America, in the Isles of the Pacific, as your family, you are thinking dangerously.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, brothers and sisters, if you ever begin to think of Islam, now you're really dangerous.
Right.
When you become a Christian, you don't link up with Christians throughout the world because they don't teach that. You're a Christian. Father Stallings, a Catholic, is a world Catholic church. But you can go to your Catholic brethren in other parts of the world, you don't feel that kinship, that brotherly love, it ain't there. They don't teach you that kind of Christianity that makes all Christians the body of one Christ.
That's right.
When you become a Muslim, you get a sense of belonging to a brotherhood that is international, universal, that makes Islam the most dangerous force in the world, and they want no black people to accept Islam. Are you listening? Bear with me, this is not anti-Christian. I'm only making a statement of fact based upon that scripture. They gotta keep you divided.
Yes, sir.
All right, now listen. Brothers and sisters, if you look, they begin to get us to participate in very harmless looking programs that are meant for our destruction. Polio vaccinations, measles vaccinations. They tell you there's an epidemic and we have some shots for you. I sat down with 45 doctors and I said, doctor, when you inject your patient with a vaccine, do you know what is in that bottle? They said no. Dick Gregory, who's not a comedian, he's a very brilliant brother of ours. Dick Gregory told us that in 1961 there was a polio outbreak. You remember? And black folk rushed to get the polio vaccination. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us, take all the others, leave the polio one alone. We didn't know why, we just obeyed him. Dick Gregory found out that they vaccinated millions of Americans with SV40, which was supposed to be a polio vaccination, but it was a polio contaminant that was cancer itself. Before the 60s, cancer was a white folk disease. Now cancer is eating the black community up. You think, brothers and sisters, that these people who smile at you, that you call doctor this and doctor the other, you think they're not experimenting? How many of you heard of the Tuskegee experiment? Where they injected 100 black men with the most virulent form of syphilis and made them think they were getting something else and would never treat them and let them go out and have sex, spreading syphilis in our community. How many of you remember Mr. Amherst, the one that the college is named after, I think? This man was one of those who sent smallpox in blankets to the Indians. So the Indians were trying to keep warm and they were dying. Now it's AIDS. Come, let us deal wisely with them. Get their own nature to help them participate in their own destruction. God has given us organs of sex for us to find pleasure and procreation. But when you deprive a human being of expressing his creativity for legitimate avenues of real pleasure, then he or she must find pleasure in the organs of sex. So we have an inordinate, sexually depraved society. We don't write the sex magazines.
That's right.
We don't make the films that are rated 3X, 4X, 5X. They are subliminally feeding the American public, making you sick sexually. So that now you're like dogs in heat. Then they undress the woman, making her a tempting treat. Then she walks like a dog. Or high-heel shoes just hopping along, standing in your little pose, letting the man get a good glimpse of your hips, knowing that when he takes that picture and develops it in his mind, he's through. He's coming after you. Savage. But you are being manipulated by a skillful enemy. You're not in control, but they make you think you're in control. Who's in control? Who makes the movies? Who writes the songs? Who influences your talents and makes you use your talent in a destructive way? Who's putting this degenerate food in the black community? The poorest of food with death-dealing chemicals. So they're killing us through our diet, killing us through our water, killing us by closing down hospitals that serve our community, forcing us to go into their hospitals where we are experimented on, killing us in the prisons. Let us deal wisely with them. This is all part of the program of the government, brothers and sisters. And I'm suggesting to you, President Nixon said, Islam is the #1 enemy of democracy in America. Not communism, but fundamentalist Islam.
Yes, sir.
So all those of you who say Allahu Akbar, the enemy says they don't want you to teach the Quran to anyone. And those who are waking up in Christianity, you are dangerous. Father Stallings moved out. I told Brother Stallings, I defended you to several Catholic priests and the bishop. I said, here's a brother who believes in Catholicism, but he recognizes there's a cultural void in the black community, and he desires to fill that void by adopting African cultural trappings and incorporating it into the faith of Catholicism. And they condemned him. I said, but you are hypocrites. You have made Christ, the angels, everybody white. And you want us to be baptized in a white supremacy religion. And if a black man says he wants to put black African culture in it, you tell him he's a heretic. I called them demons. I said, with your weak demon translation and exegesis of the scripture. Yes, I did. You want to tell me I'm black because I'm one of the children of Ham.
Come on, go ahead.
You want me to believe that I'm black because I'm cursed. I said, don't you link me to Ham.
Yes, sir. Come on now, brother.
I didn't come from Ham.
Come on now.
Before Ham was, I am. Before Noah was, I am. Before Abraham was, I am. Before Adam was, I am. I am from God and I am from the beginning. I'm not black because I'm cursed. I'm black because I'm the first that God created. He created me black so that from me all human beings could come. Without the black man there could be no brown man, no red man, no yellow man, and no white man. They all come from the black man. I only need a few more minutes. The unemployment figures are designed to keep white unemployment low and black male unemployment high, particularly among the youth.
Yes, sir.
As long as there's high unemployment among the youth with no job opportunities in sight, then you open the door to other realities to draw off the black population. Let me give you an idea. When they say no jobs, they are herding black youth into the only job opportunity we have. Be all that you can never be in the society. You can be it in the Army, in the Navy, in the Marine Corps. So when a young black brother has no job, they write him, join the Army. That's how they draw off the black population. Give me a few more minutes. They keep us before the television,
Yes, sir.
looking at the lifestyle of the rich and the famous.
All right.
But we can never have any decent lifestyle with a job at Wendy's or Mickey D's at $3.35 an hour. No black brother wants to work for that little jive pay. Is that right? So they've created an economic opportunity for you. They know cocaine is an expensive drug, but they are wicked scientists. They've learned how to synthesize it, chemicalize it, and then lower the price of it and get it down to where the poor can handle it. And then they give an opportunity to a young black brother or a young black sister to go on and sell crack, making $400, $500, $600, $700 a day. They are not trying to kill their people. They want to live better. So they're selling drugs. Who created the opportunity, the need? It's the same enemy. Let's deal wisely with them. Isn't that something? Now, gang activity. In Los Angeles, it's the Bloods and the Crips. In Washington, it's the Jamaican drug dealers. This is not to cast aspersion on those from the island of Jamaica. This is the way they call it. The Jamaican drug dealers. The so-and-so drug dealers. How did they get the drugs? Who brought it to them? These young brothers growing up in the ghetto, any social scientist will tell you children at a certain age go out and group together with other of their peers. That's not unnatural, very natural. Your children have more sense than you. You don't even know your next door neighbor, but your children knows everybody on the block and around the corner. The children meet and they find a unity. And the white man calls them gangs. Check this out. Boys are not like girls. Boys have an aggressive tendency. They seem to be power and strength oriented. This is the male child. Boys test their strength with other boys.
Yes, sir.
And the strongest one becomes the leader. They get out and they thump. And who can thump the best? That's the man. Then all the little boys gather around the heavy thumper. They walk out of their neighborhood into another neighborhood and they meet some other thumpers. Now the other little boys want to know what the leader gonna do. So he walks up to the other man and says, "You're in the wrong neighborhood." He said, "What you mean, man?" His heart beating, but he can't punk out because his boys are watching. Next thing you know, we're fighting each other. And so if I lost this time, I'll wait till one of your boys come in my territory and we waste him. But white folks manage their children's aggression. You know how they do it? They have a little league. This is how you work off your frustration, white boys. You get your baseball and bat, we get our baseball and bat, and we duke it out in a legitimate baseball game, or basketball, or football, or we join the police athletic league and we box. That's how you work off your frustration. You learn respect for each other, and it's guided and governed. But when you're poor, ragged, hungry, naked, no money, no representation, then your macho nature degenerates, and then it's manipulated by outside forces, and they're working, dealing wisely with you to get you to kill yourself. Yes, sir. Now look at this. Gang activity is a funded activity by those outside our community.
Right, listen.
It is a calculated activity. Now guns are moving into the black community.
Yes, sir. Yes.
What kind of guns? MAC-10s, Uzis, AK-47s, street sweepers. Where did you get this kind of weapon? Do you buy it or do they give it to you? And even if you buy it, let me ask you a question. Do you think white people would allow black people to have those kind of weapons if they felt that these weapons would be turned on them? Come on. If you started killing white folk with those Uzis and MAC-10s, I guarantee you'd be disarmed next week.
All right.
But as long as you kill one another, and they've calculated that you're going to kill each other, then you can have all the weapons you want, but they're setting you up for total destruction. This is what I wanted to get to. And then I'm at the end. Brothers and sisters, they are setting up the black community for total destruction.
Tell it, brother. Tell it, brother.
You have weapons in your possession, and now they are saying in the press, we can't deal with the gangs. We can't deal with the drug pushers. They have more significant firepower than we have.
My Lord. Come on. My Lord.
The police themselves are saying, and it's a lie, that we don't have enough firepower to deal with the drug dealers. That's a lie. But by saying it, they are arguing for more effective weaponry. Are you listening? Now the city police are crying out for National Guard and for federal troops. You're being set up and you don't even realize it.
Hello.
They're making you call for your own destruction.
Hello.
Brothers and sisters, it is written in the Quran. Allah says, I am going to place a ruler in the earth. And the angel said, what will you place in it except that which creates mischief and causes the shedding of blood? Allah said, I know what you know not. Brothers and sisters, a people were made to create mischief and cause the shedding of blood. White people study themselves, and many of their own scholars have said, why do we kill like we do without a reason? Animals kill because they're hungry. But whites have written books that they have killed and shed the blood of all living things with no reason, just a lust to kill. How can you stop the killing unless you stop the killer? Here are some solutions. You're killing each other because you have no love for yourself.
All right.
All your life you've been taught to hate who and what you are. How does that stop? It doesn't stop by slogans. It stops by men and women, particularly the religious leaders, getting up in your pulpit. Come on. And instead of teaching black people how to love white people, you gotta start at home teaching black people how to love themselves and love one another. Y'all all right? Look here. If every preacher would take his text this Sunday from whatever denomination you believe in and start teaching black people the history and knowledge of themselves from the Bible and the Quran, getting black people to love what they've been made to hate, you can stop the killing almost overnight. Stop the killing. Let every teacher in the public school system begin to understand that teaching white history don't help black children. You have to teach black children the rich history of themselves. And when we grow to respect ourselves, then we will grow to respect one another. And when you have mutual respect, you have already started to put a stop to the killing. Look at what Elijah Muhammad said to us. David the psalmist said, ye are all God's children of the Most High God. What does that mean? This is solution. Reverend Stallings is my Catholic brother. That's right. When I saw my brother, I bowed to him, and he bowed to me. Why did I bow to him? I recognize him. Not as Father Stallings. I bowed to everyone whose hand I shook. You know why? Because I know who they are. Jesus said it like this. They said to him, Master, when were you hungry and I fed you not? When were you naked and I clothed you not? When were you out of doors and I gave you not shelter? When were you sick and in prison and I ministered not unto you? And Jesus said, inasmuch as you have not done it unto these, the least of my brethren, you have not done it also unto me. Look, you know how to respect big folk. The bigger they are, the more you know how to, you know who that is? Yeah, that's the one. And you shout bow. But you don't know how to do that to the least of his brethren. And the reason he said the least of his brethren is because the thing that the people admire in Jesus is also in the least of the people. It just has to be watered. It just has to be nurtured. It just has to be developed. And that's why Jesus said, lovest thou me, Peter? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Feed my sheep. Don't entertain them, feed them. Yes, sir. That's right. And if you feed the nature of God in the human being, he'll grow into an expression of God. Yeah. And when I see an expression of God, I gotta bow to that expression. That self-respect, that stops the killing. You say, well, is that just in men? I bowed to the sisters as I met them. My mother produced me. She's a woman. My mother taught me. She nurtured me. She protected me. And she brought me to God. Well, if I can bow to a woman in the first instance, certainly I can recognize God in a woman in the last instance. So when we see our women, we show them honor and respect. Stop the killing. Yes, sir. Come on, baby. We see our children, we know what that is. That's not baby Tim, baby Tom, baby Sally. That is the expression of God growing. It is an opportunity for us to nurture God in a human being. Yes, sir. You don't kill this, you nurture it. Show me the worst drug dealer, and I'll show you God. Show me the lowest prostitute, and I'll show you God. Show me a human being, and I'll show you potential. But those who are stewards of human life do not know how to make a human being. The education is based on white supremacy. Right. The religion is based on white supremacy. Yes, sir. The society is built on white supremacy. You cannot build a human being teaching white supremacy. That's right, man. You make a devil, and that's all you've made is white devils who produce little black devils aping the white master. A habitation of devils. stop the killing. Now look, Elijah Muhammad knows something of the nature of white people. You don't want to accept this.
Yeah, come on.
But white people are not the same as you.
That's right.
They have a different nature altogether.
Yeah.
Now one day soon, white folk, I would like to sit down with you and teach you what you already know.
That's what needs to happen.
Brothers, you're trying to make white folk kill you because you're asking them to do something by you that nature didn't put in them.
All right now.
Nature did not give white people a heart of love and mercy for you.
All right. Right.
Nature didn't put it there. Look at what Jesus said. Come on, Christian, I want you to get your Bibles and read with me. Jesus was talking to the Jews. They started playing a game with him, like some white folks like to play with us. We are all God's children. See? Look at what Jesus said. He said, if God were your father, you would love me. For I proceeded forth from God. They said, Abraham is our father. Well, if Abraham was your father, you would do the works of Abraham. He said, but you hate me, a man that has told you the truth. I know you.
Yeah.
You are of your father, the devil, and the lust of your father you shall do. He was a liar in the beginning and a murderer. This is Jesus talking. Yeah. They couldn't fool Jesus. And they can't fool the children of Jesus today. Now what you're trying to do is get white folk to treat you like they treat themselves. And that's not going to happen by you asking them, wake up, black man and woman.
Come on, brother.
They never have, and they never will. When are you going to see this? When your blood is running in the gutter? When are you going to wake up, black man?
Come on, brother, man.
Now, if you want to get respect from them, there's a way to get it.
All right now.
And if you want to stop the killing, there's a way to stop it. When you stop killing yourself.
All right now.
And come in unity with yourself.
Yeah.
The strength of your unity will force white people to show respect for you. But the moment you give up your power, you're dead. And your power is in God, and your power is in the strength of your unity.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, my beloved brothers and sisters, I ask you to stop the killing. Stop killing one another. I think that what we have said is sufficient for you. Wait a minute, brothers and sisters. I know there's a train that's got to go. You got to catch a train? I don't want to hold you beyond the time. But brothers and sisters, you and I are standing on the verge of death.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tell it, man.
And I'll close with these words. The government is so frightened that you are listening to Farrakhan.
That's right. That's right.
That they have planned my death. They are trying right now through their agents to create and exacerbate tensions within the movement, hoping that one of my brothers will kill me so that they could say it was an internal thing. Throw the stone and hide their hands. They're so frightened that they don't control me.
All right now.
And there's nothing that they have that can control me. They're so frightened that they have already sent runners into all the cities.
Come on.
That when they make their move, some have opted to become silent. And they promised you money and political power in their councils. If when they come against your brother, you do this.
Hello.
Judge Alcee Hastings.
Yes, sir.
Is a black man who has stood for black people. He was acquitted in a lower court,
Yes, sir.
and impeached by the little white Senate. And black leaders knew they were planning a lynching. Black leaders were saying, look, they got him, he's gone, leave that alone. This is what black leaders were saying. Judge Hastings is gone now from the bench, and only a few black leaders stood with him. He was impeached on circumstantial evidence.
That's right, sir.
For political reasons. But nobody knows what the politics really are. The politics is this: get rid of every strong black
That's right.
political speaker, thinker,
Yes, sir.
advocate.
That's right.
Either indict them or frighten them with the threat of an indictment,
Yes,
then
sir.
they shut their mouth.
Yes, sir.
Black mayors are being picked off.
Tell it, brother.
Black city councilmen, black sheriffs, black judges.
Yes, sir.
What's going on? They are about to make a move on the black community, and they don't want any strong black voice available.
Yes, sir.
Did you hear me?
Listen.
Mayor Powell officer, our brother, fighting over the death of his own city that they purposely allowed to die, to blame him for the death of a city when funds are purposely withheld because they want the riverfront of East St. Louis. They want to move all blacks out of East St. Louis and take it for themselves so he becomes the scapegoat. Brother, I hear that 60 Minutes is doing a story. Well, don't look for too much out of that story, brother. 60 Minutes actually represents the hour, and the hour represents the doom. These are not your friends. They are open enemies. They all work together.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Black mayors taken out of their homes at 6 a.m. in the morning. The press looking at them like we can't govern we're all corrupt. Young black men laid out in the streets in Los Angeles. Look in their faces. They're not talking. The press is talking over their laying out in the street, and they're saying, we're taking back the streets. Taking it back from who? We never had the streets. They are manipulating the mass mind because they're about to make a mass move.
Listen.
Right in this Armory.
Tell it, brother.
2 floors down.
Come on.
They got some phenomenal weapons.
Listen. Listen.
That they're going to try out soon.
Listen.
Right here in Washington, D.C.
Tell it, brother. Tell it.
I've got to tell you.
Tell it.
You're heading for death.
Tell it.
You got to stop the killing and come together. Otherwise, many of us won't be around to talk about it. They have planned, but God also has planned.
All right, now. All right. Yeah.
And I say this to you, brothers and sisters. Watch the leaders who are silent.
All right. Watch it. Watch it.
They have already made a covenant with death.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't look for support from your brothers, because they're too cowardly.
That's right. All right.
I wouldn't be so hard on the mayor if you understand political realities. My brother, may Allah bless him, the poor mayor of Washington, D.C., they are working to destroy him night and day. They want him out, and he's ducking and dodging as best he can. In New York City, we have a black mayor, a man running for the mayor parliament. I'm not going to be one to fly in the face of the aspirations of our people in New York City for a black mayor. I think if that's what we want, we should get that. Dinkins will probably be better for you than Koch. But Mr. Dinkins should be wise. We want you to be mayor, but you don't have to climb over your brother to get to be mayor. You can get there by being a sincere brother. But they got to appease white folks. So even if you get a black mayor, what do you have? Just tax blue ribbon. What do you have? You got nothing. You're pacified a few more days, but you got nothing.
Yes, sir.
I have to say it, I'm the last one left.
All right.
And by the help of Almighty God, I'm born to win.
All right.
They don't have any power to kill this brother. God is with us today, black man. And I say this with deep humility. You better leave Farrakhan alone. If you want to keep your country, leave me alone. If you want to keep your life, leave me alone. I'm not before you of myself. I am before you of God to warn you in this tragic hour. Brothers and sisters, how many of you agree that we should stop the killing? How many of you agree that we should unite regardless of our religion, regardless of our politics? We are one family. How many of you agree? And as you leave here tonight, let's make an agreement that we will be loving, courteous, kind, and considerate of one another. That we will be respectful of our women and our children, our old and our young. Whether they're from America, from the Caribbean, from Africa, from South America, or the Isles of the Pacific, wherever you see the black man, you're looking at your brother, you're looking at your sister, you're looking at the first creation of God. Honor and respect yourselves, and let's put a stop to the killing. Thank you for listening, and may Allah bless you as I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.